Hello, and welcome to the 17th episode of the Funfiltered podcast. I'm Jordan, and I'm joined as always by Sam.
Hello.
And before we carry on, a couple of things we need to get out of the way, I think. In there. Now we said, was it Jesus was the patsy of man?
Is
the patsies of man. Patsies of man. Jesus is
well,
the
he is three people, isn't he? So I suppose he would be.
Oh, he would be the patsies.
He would be a plural. He would be a plural of himself.
Is he actually three people, or is he?
Well, he's three concepts.
Right. Okay.
Is he? No. Is God?
No, God
things?
is the God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
But he's part.
Jesus is a. He's one of the three.
He's a leg of the tripod.
Yes.
He's part of the triptych.
Yes.
So he's kind of part of a three.
Well,
he forms part of a third of one thing.
Yes. But he himself is not a multiple.
No. He is of a collective.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus is the patsy of man.
Jesus is the patsy of man.
Okay.
At the beginning of Jesus is the patsy of man, we put the disclaimer basically saying that if it could be avoided, we would not talk about the coronavirus because everyone is talking about the coronavirus, and the last thing people want to do is talk about the coronavirus.
Yes.
However, we do need to slightly.
Yes.
Because we need to explain the absence of our trusted third.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah. He's going to be listening back to this, you know that.
In spirit. In a way.
Yes, Eddie, who usually joins us, unfortunately he's fine.
Yeah.
It's not unfortunate that he's fine. I was sort of correcting what I was saying. Yes. Yeah, Eddie is fine. However, he does work in a pub in a very touristy part of Cardiff that is currently hemorrhaging staff members, from what I understand.
Yeah, we're just being precautious. I mean, like I said, Eddie's fine.
Yeah.
He could feasibly have been here today, but we just didn't want to take the risk.
Yeah, and also he doesn't have access to his equipment at home, so unfortunately we can't do the podcast long distance, which is why he's sort of not with us at the moment.
And we have experimented with Skype remote podcasting.
Oh yeah, that did not work at all. I don't know how people do it, because a lot of YouTube podcasts...
Money, probably.
I don't know, because a lot of podcasts that I listen to are comprised of people who live in on different continents. Right. You know? So they're obviously doing it via Skype or Discord or whatever. We just couldn't get it. We couldn't get it to work. Yeah,
so it's just us two, basically.
You're just going to have to put up with us for the time being. So yeah, we'll move away from coronavirus, because I felt like we were about to start a conversation on that, and we don't want to do that.
I'm not going there.
No. I feel like it's one of those things that's probably going to be more interesting to talk about in hindsight, though, isn't it?
Interesting.
The thing is, it's not as if we have unique experience. It's not as if this is it's not like the flood, for example, where that was a very specific thing.
No.
I know we didn't really talk about that and how it affected us personally, but it's not as if the world flooded.
No.
Whereas the world is infected at the moment.
Yes.
So maybe in hindsight, when this virus has passed, it'll be more interesting to sort of be like, oh, this is how it affected us. This is sort of what our governments or our local communities did to kind of combat it.
And I said as much in the pre-essay last week, but I think the news about it is minute to minute, and commenting on any kind of social phenomena I think might also be kind of transitory. And so, it probably is worth looking at in hindsight. Yeah. Because, I've already noticed trends and this and that.
Well, that's a fair point, actually, because, it's entirely possible that we'll have a conversation about it. And by the end of this recording session, it'll be obsolete.
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
how quickly things seem to be changing at the moment.
Yeah. So, we'll wait till it's all blown over.
Yeah.
Hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
other things to talk about. What can we talk about?
Well, we both watched The Hunt.
We did, yes. Yeah. Finally.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
Well, the Hunt, for those who don't know, was it never going to come out? Was that the idea?
Well, I was under the impression that was the case.
Okay.
But it was in response to a topical issue.
That being?
A shooting.
Right, okay.
They do this all the time. If there's a real world shooting, then a film that has a sniper in it, or a mass shooting on television.
There's been a few instances of that. There was a game, Motorstorm Apocalypse, it was called.
I've heard of that.
In 2000.
Is it a car game?
It's a racing game,
okay.
But it's set during a city that's sort of hit by an earthquake. And the courses are kind of fragments of the city that are sort of falling apart around you. But that was due to release around about the time of it was 2011. I think there was a pretty serious earthquake in China or somewhere. Haiti, that's it.
Yeah.
So they had to delay the release of that. There was an episode of Doctor Who that featured a beheading. And a beheading.
Oh, beheading, right.
And that was due to air just after an ISIS video.
There was an episode of Doctor Who that was set to feature a beheading.
It was a robot beheading.
Okay.
It wasn't a human beheading.
An extraterrestrial
But that was
beheading.
sort of the reveal. You thought it was a human, and then they were beheaded and it was a robot. But they had to cut that scene.
Did Muslim extremists decapitate the robot?
No. No, it was not that. It was just like, oh shit, beheading. We should probably not.
Okay, just,
bit sensitive at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's been loads of instances like that.
Yeah, I can't remember which shooting in America. God knows at this point. Like, they all blur into one, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
But, yeah, I can't remember which one it was. Probably the most recent one. What was the most recent shooting?
Well, what was the date that it was supposed to come out? Wasn't it like...
Was the end of last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, November time? September time?
Got no track of these things.
Genuinely no idea, yeah.
But yeah, there was a shooting, and the film contains a lot of shooting. So...
Yes.
Or maybe it was actually the politics. There was an overlap slightly as well.
Outright dropped it, didn't it?
Did they?
I think so, because it was originally Universal. I think. I remember there was some, like... We'll get onto what the film is in a moment, don't worry, in case you don't know what we're on about. But initially the film was called Red State versus Blue State. Yeah. And then Universal had to come out and publicly deny that was ever the title. Right. Because of the implications of it. Right. Because obviously, Red State, Blue State, Democrat, Republican.
Yeah. Even though that's what the film is.
Yes, but Yeah. That's the problem with these sort of things, isn't it? And I don't think Universal have anything to do with it, because it's Blumhouse that have released this now. Yeah. So I think Universal dropped out entirely, which is why the film... I could be wrong, but I think that's why the film disappeared for a while. I wasn't anticipating it, eagerly anticipating it. Well, you were in the sense that it was written by Damon Lindelof.
Yes, and I think Nick Cuse.
Okay. Who is...
those two were writers on The Leftovers and wrote the best episodes of that show. Okay. So interested, but the fact that it came out, I didn't hear he was doing this. The film came out of nowhere. Yeah. It's like, oh, what's this? The Hunt? Damon Lindelof involved? Yeah. I don't remember being announced that he was doing this film. Right. So I didn't expect it to be very good. And he doesn't have a great track record in film anyway.
No, TV is definitely his dominion.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wasn't excited for it. It was more just... Yeah, and when it got canned, I thought it was permanent. Right. And then all of a sudden it was being released. Okay. Yeah. Well, considering that this show often veers into the... Not quite the political, but it skirts around the edges of it.
It has done, yes.
It has done. Yeah. And we're not shy of controversy. Okay. Then I'm not shy of controversy. I thought it'd be an interesting film to talk about, even if the reviews weren't great.
Yes. Well, it is sort of interesting, because you brought it to my attention that the film was about a bunch of leftist elitists. Yes. Hunting working class Republicans. Mm-hmm. Which I found very interesting, because I'd have thought, and I think a lot of people would have thought, that the plot that we would usually get is right-wingers hunting left-wingers. Yes. The lefties are the heroes, they're the underdogs, they have to overthrow the bigoted, gun-toting...
Yeah, we want to get rid of all the immigrants.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what you'd expect. I mean, and the fact that Damon Lindelof was a writer, and he's very not of the right. Yes. So it is a bit of a surprise. Yeah. But obviously, it was kind of a political football in a sense.
Yeah, left-wingers were saying the film was very... No, right-wingers were saying the film was very left-wing. Yeah. Because of how it treated the right-wing characters. Left-wingers were saying, the film is actually quite right-wing, because the right-wingers are the ones who are being hunted and all that kind of stuff.
It kind of reminded me of the furore over Benioff and Weiss's proposed slavery HBO drama. In the sense of...
Confederate? Yeah,
Confederate, yeah. Where slavery had never been abolished.
Yeah, I think it was maybe present day.
Yeah, present day. Yeah. In the South. Yeah. And people saying, how can they make this, advance this as a thesis, as if it was a thesis. Yeah. Is there any chance they're going to make a show that argues
that glorifies slavery? Exactly,
for slavery. Sort of the same thing. I'm like, I highly suspect that this hyperbolic, overblown Red State versus Blue State thing is going to try to be a commentary on attitudes to, stereotypes and that sort of thing. Yeah. And that is what it's trying to do.
Yes, this film doesn't seem to like anyone political, I would argue. I would argue that it's a political film in that politics feature.
Yeah, it was a film with politics in it.
It's a film with politics in it, but the film itself is not... It doesn't come down on the left or the right.
No. It's trying to just not unite necessarily, but illustrate what any child knows, that, you know what, these people think this about this group, these people think this about this group, and they're both kind of wrong, and we've all got a common...
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's sort of supposed to appeal to what's probably the vast majority of people, which are the people who just can't be dealing with political discourse. It's just like, everyone's just shouting at each other, and it's all like... Everyone's making bad points and everyone's treating the other side like shit. Yeah. And I just want no part of it.
But I think if you're not engaged with that stuff anyway, you're not really gonna not understand, because it's pretty basic, but a lot of the references and what it's about is just gonna go over your head.
I don't know. I felt like it was a very... Well, everyone in the film is a caricature.
Yeah.
And it's all the cliches of either side.
Yeah.
The left-wingers are constantly checking each other's privilege, treating the other people like shit for being white and all that kind of shit. And then the right-wingers are all very, like, unlikable. They seem to act against their own self-interest rather than sort of be helped or be told what to do by minorities and all that kind of stuff.
Anti-immigrant conspiracy theories.
Yeah, exactly. It's all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's sort of like the cliche of both sides is sort of being depicted here. And the woman who ends up being the character that we follow has no discernible political leaning. She doesn't seem to be left-wing or right-wing. No. She's just kind of apolitical.
Yeah, the vibe I got from it is occasionally, if it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and you've been binge watching something, and then you're done and you just have a conversation and you're very tired, and then a nugget of an idea, you go, ooh, that'd be a cool screenplay to write. Yeah. And then you decide together you're going to write the screenplay starting the next day. And then this is what happens if you actually did that.
Right, okay.
I'm like, oh man, we could do like, it's brilliant, Trump's now in power. We could, there's shrieking hysteria on both sides.
Yeah.
We could do a, man is the most dangerous game thing with liberals and with Republicans.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans. But it's one of those things like, yeah, maybe it sounded good at 3 o'clock in the morning when you were having that conversation. But in practice, not only does it date it terribly, I think this film is going to be obsolete within 5-10 years.
Why? I don't feel like there's anything other than...
Well, because it's all basket of deplorables and Trump and, when...
Did they mention Trump at all?
Yeah,
I know they, they're supposed to be talking about Trump. Do they actually mention Trump?
At the beginning. I don't know if he's directly referenced.
Well, they say, have you seen what our idiot leader...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that could just be,
But it's clearly him,
It's clearly Trump, and we know it's Trump because it's set at the time of Trump, and they use the word deplorables as well. Well, you could, that's one of those things where, you could argue, 20 years down the road when we have a different president, he's still an idiot.
Oh, so this divide is always going to exist. Yeah. But I think it's Damon Lindelof. I love his writing on television.
Yeah.
But he does have as a lot of liberals do, a streak of the sanctimonious in him, right? Okay. And I've seen it expressed on Instagram and Twitter when he was on it. Now it feels like his attempt to go... Because of his own admission, he's in the Hollywood bubble. Okay. Just that he reads all the books that a woke person is supposed to read.
Right.
And, or pretends to have read them, that sort of thing. The film wants to generate the response from the bubble going, oh man, you were brave to depict us as the villains. You know what? You've made me rethink how I think about the other side.
Oh, okay.
And for people to go, oh wow, yeah, the expectation would be that the Republicans would be the villains. Because you don't see the liberals being the villains in mainstream.
Yes, yeah.
How daring, how, mold shattering.
Yeah.
And the film is just not much of anything, really, is it?
No, it's a very, well, like I said, because everyone is a caricature, it's very simple. I mean, the film itself, this type of film, Man is the Most Dangerous Game, Hunger Games, whatever reference best suits you. It's a very simple film, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just not simple good, though.
No, it's literally just, it's a premise. It's not a plot, it's a premise.
Exactly.
People are in a field being hunted, someone has to survive. Yes. That's the film, basically. Yeah. And in the beginning, it feels like it's trying to do with something interesting. We sort of have the opening scene where you're introduced to the villains on a plane. And then this blonde girl wakes up in a field. Yeah. And then everyone starts to wake up and they find this box full of ammunition and guns and stuff.
The mystery box.
The mystery box, yes. Well, that's a J.J. Abrams thing, isn't it? I don't know if Lindelof...
There's an affiliation, isn't there?
I know, but I don't know if Lindelof directly subscribes to that sort of...
I don't know.
Thinking.
Well, he likes mysteries.
I know he likes mysteries, but I don't know if mystery box is something that he's taken forward. Anyway. Yes. Yeah, so the way it's filmed and the way... You're expecting this blonde girl to be the main character.
Emma Roberts.
Yes. And also it's Emma Roberts, a somewhat well-known... Is she the most famous person in the film other than Hilary Swank?
Arguably, yeah.
Yeah. It's a known person in a cast of generally unknowns.
Generally unknowns. I mean, the next dude we follow... He's in a show called This Is Us, which is very popular at the minute.
I see.
And I feel like he played Green Arrow on Smallville or something.
Oh, right.
So he's fairly well known at the minute.
Well, that kind of plays in as well, because what I was going to say is that happens, and then they start getting shot at, and then Emma Roberts is killed.
Instantly.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, okay. we thought she was going to be the main character.
Yeah.
And now she's dead.
Yeah.
Then it goes to Green Arrow guy.
Yeah.
We start following him. Then he gets killed immediately. So it's sort of like it sort of made me think that of in the initial script for Lost, wasn't Jack supposed to die?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to be killed, and then the producers were like, "Oh, you can't do that because people are not gonna."
You're teaching the audience not to care about anybody.
Yes,
if you do that, yeah.
If you do that, yeah. So this kind of felt like Damon Lindelof getting it out of his system.
Yeah,
I'm finally going to kill all these main characters, and he kills a few of them before we eventually settle on who our main character is.
Yeah, I found that quite irritating. Like, not frustrating in the, oh, you got me.
Yeah.
It was more just, I get it. I get the thing. Because, we have a couple of those, and then we follow a little group. Like, oh, we're with this group then.
Yes.
And they end up in this store.
And then they end up in the store. Then they get killed by leftists. Then we start following the leftists. And you think, oh, these are the characters now.
Yeah.
We were made to think that we were following the Republicans. Now we're going to follow the Liberals.
Yeah, I was getting
And then
tired
they get killed.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, you really are getting this out of your system, aren't you?
Yeah.
But again, that sort of feels like like you said, like a conversation at 3:00 in the morning where it's like, oh, what if we make this film where like the main character dies and then the next guy dies, and the type of thing that sounds clever when you're sort of talking about it, but it's difficult, if not impossible, to pull off.
Well, I don't know what level they're trying to pitch the film, because it's sort of trying to make sincere political points.
Yeah, the tone was an issue for me. Is it
also
comedy?
trying to be an action comedy thriller.
It's an action comedy thriller and a political
satire.
Yeah,
I guess satire. Maybe it's bad satire. Maybe that's the best way of describing it.
Yeah,
it's also trying to be an irreverent, funny, bloody movie.
Yes, and I think that's
inventive kills.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of part of. If you go off this idea that I proposed, that the film is to sort of speak to the apolitical amongst us, to sort of go, look, we know this kind of political. It's so noisy and it's so like, I know that it's shit. And I know you people are out there and this film is supposed to appeal to you.
Yeah.
It feels like the film is sort of like taking politics, which is something that people typically want to avoid, and it's putting it in a very crowd-pleasing movie.
Yeah, accessible.
It's kind of like you said, it's irreverent and it's like gory and it's fun, and it's the type of film that people go, oh yeah, we should go watch this like fun, trashy movie. And it's sort of putting the politics in that. I think maybe as a mechanism to get that point out to as many people as possible.
Yeah, problem is it's not fun. I didn't find it that fun.
No, the violence isn't creative enough.
No.
Because, when the fact that they kill off so many main characters in one go, and the fact that no one has any level of depth to them whatsoever, you don't care about anyone.
Yeah.
And the violence isn't creative enough to carry the film. And the satire isn't deep enough to carry the film either. So there's sort of nothing really to latch onto.
No.
And at the same time, though, that's the problem, because you sort of spend time kind of like... Because no one's being depicted as the better side, you kind of I at least naturally found myself kind of digging into it, going, right, what exactly am I supposed to think about this now? Yeah. And then a joke would happen, or like a comedic beat would happen, and I'd go, oh, okay, that's weird. That's sort of like thrown me off slightly. Yeah, so the tone is definitely... It feels like the worst of both worlds. It's satire that's not deep, and it's sort of action comedy that is neither thrilling or funny enough.
I think it wants to think that it's playful in the sense of the mishmash of tones is like an interesting endeavor, and
it is in theory.
It is in theory, because I've heard interviews with Damon Lindelof where he said, it was about Watchmen, I think, he loves it when he's watching something and doesn't know what it is that he's watching, that it can change on the turn of a heel.
Well, this was certainly that. I'll give him that.
Well, but that's the thing. So okay, there's a scene where two of the characters being hunted are escaping on a train.
Yes.
And then there's a family of immigrants hiding on the train, but they're not. They're actors.
Well, one of them
is. There's a Republican who's saying they're crisis actors, and then one confirms that he is, and he just shut his mouth. Yeah. And then he gets killed by the Republican.
Yes.
You're supposed to go, oh man, I don't know what I'm supposed to think.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I supposed to think? I don't want to be told exactly what to feel or think, but at the same time, I need to feel or think something.
Yeah, you do kind of need something to latch onto.
Yeah, because a moment like that, where it is an actor and then he gets killed, and he blows up with a grenade, right?
Yeah.
It's quite comical in a way how it happens.
Yes.
Right. That, in another film, could be the point where you're kind of observing the futility of like, oh no, he's just dead. And like that, he's dead.
Yeah.
Or he just died in a funny way.
Yeah. Yeah, because he gets a grenade shoved down his trousers.
It's like, Right, am I supposed to be on his side?
Yeah.
Not. Yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah. Even the main character, Crystal, her name is, right?
Yeah.
Who's she played by?
Betty Gilpin.
Is that a person?
She's in the show Glow on Netflix about wrestling, female wrestlers.
Okay.
And she was in Masters of Sex. That's the only two things I've seen her in.
Right, okay. Yeah, even she's kind of a dick.
Yeah, kind of. She's meant to be the...
Not a dick, but she's very abrasive, isn't she? She's very, like, monosyllabic and...
No nonsense.
No nonsense.
Suffers no fools.
Yeah, there's, like, a moment where she's walking with somebody and then she, like, she pulls her trousers down to, like, take a shit.
Yeah.
Without, like, warning the guy.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, okay, you're not relatable.
Women can be men, too. There's a bit of that.
Okay.
The stern, kind of laconic archetype.
Right, okay, I see.
Typified by men historically, obviously, because women don't shut the fuck up.
Right. And he's off.
I'm doing this off the back of finding out that half of our audience is female.
Oh yeah, that really surprised us.
Yeah. So if you still fair play to you, fair play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit bland, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder how it started life. Was it an idea by two writers going, oh, let's write this script, and then they sold that script? Was it the studio wanting to make that kind of film?
Yeah.
I'm interested. It was probably the former, right? It was those two working on the leftovers together, and then Watchmen, I think.
You know what? It does sort of feel... I know there's this political discourse within it, but it does kind of feel like a decompression after doing a show like The Leftovers or Watchmen.
Watchmen, where they're kind of doing politics, but it's more racial politics, and it's very tightly wound.
Yeah.
And it's taking itself... even while being fun... It's taking itself very seriously.
Yeah, and it's sort of, it is like, you do have to sort of pay attention to what's happening.
Yes.
Because it is easy to kind of lose the thread of a couple of things.
This is Danny Boyle making trance when he wasn't doing the Olympics.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It does feel like that. But yeah, I don't know. I expected more of Lindelof. This doesn't feel like Lindelof's MO. It feels too basic for Lindelof.
Yeah, very. Yeah. Which again is why it makes me think of, oh fuck it, should we just do it? Let's just write this.
Yeah, because the only time, because the dialogue is purely functional. There's no poetry or colour to the dialogue whatsoever. There's like two moments where it feels like the characters are, you're supposed to read into what the characters are saying, and that's the story that Crystal says about the what was the right tells. Yeah. The story that Crystal tells to the guy about like the rabbit and the turtle.
Yes.
And at the end where they're talking about like Animal Farm and like, oh, you're our Snowball. But it feels like, okay, we're supposed to read into this.
Well, I think what you're supposed to read into that is because she says, you read Animal Farm? She's surprised at her fluency in kind of literature.
Yeah. Or
like,
I don't know.
You're a redneck. Like, oh, you read a book.
Well, is that the... Yeah, I was wondering, actually, is the cliche of a Republican, would they have never read Animal Farm?
A cliche of Republicans, they would never have read a book.
Oh, I see. Okay. But is Animal Farm considered a very leftist thing? Or is it just the fact that reading books is cultured and left-wingers are cultured and blah, blah, blah?
Animal Farm is a satire on communism. Right. So it's a critique of communism.
I see.
So it's not hard left.
No. I
think George Orwell was a lefty, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's a pig in this called Orwell, isn't there?
Yes.
That as well, that kind of feels like, okay.
Pig and Animal Farm. Napoleon,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that feels like, okay, that might be about something.
On the nose?
Yeah. There was also that, yeah. But yeah, I didn't know whether that was the idea that like, oh, you read Animal Farm? That's supposed to be like a... Yeah. Oh shit, you're,
But it sort of feels, in a way, weirdly appropriate. It's like, that's the correct... that's how much reading this film has done. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to do a satire about a political satire. And my reference point will be Animal Farm. That is your entry level to political satire.
It's the same as those like coming of age films that feature Catcher in the Rye. They have a character reading Catcher in the Rye.
Exactly that. Like I read Animal Farm literally as a child.
Yes,
it's kind of like a children's book. It's very easy to read.
Okay.
But, the lessons in there are a bit more sophisticated, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, that kind of is oddly appropriate. It's like, yeah, that's about where you're at.
Yeah.
You're not as good as Animal Farm, but you're, in terms of complexity, you're pitched at that level.
Yes.
Yeah. This film has never read a book by Thomas Sowell or Adam Smith, like a great economist.
Don't even know who these people are.
To be fair, Adam Smith is just an economist. I pulled up my arse. Okay. But Thomas Sowell is like a Republican economist.
I see. Okay.
I haven't either.
Okay.
I want to say my intelligence is broad but shallow. We may have covered this before, but like I've read the Spark Notes on the things you're supposed to know
Right.
about authors and economists.
I see. Okay.
If you heard of Thomas Sowell, I can go, yes. But I can tell he's black and that's all I got.
People will think you've read it and be like,
exactly.
oh shit, this guy knows things.
Yeah, no, not enough meat on the bone.
No.
Not enough of anything, really. And yeah, I did expect better.
You did or you didn't?
I did.
You did expect better.
Even though it's Lindelof back in the world of film, I did still expect better. Because I thought it was an interesting pairing, you know? Like, they wrote an episode of Leftovers called International Assassin.
Which you hold in very high regard.
Very high regard. Yeah. It's one of the best episodes of anything ever, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I think it's generally held in quite high regard.
Okay.
By critics and you know, that ilk. So I was expecting something. A bit of like, I can see the Lindelof in there. Yeah. And I did. I saw the Lindelof in the moments where there's a box and then, the character you think you're going to be following gets killed.
Yeah.
But that was sort of it.
Yeah, there's like a couple of like clever little moments where you feel like, okay, that's like a smart writer wrote that.
The fact that, obviously, we've already spoiled a lot of things, but they think they're in Arkansas and they're actually in Georgia.
Yes, she figures it out because they give her too much change.
Or Bosnia. Yes.
Croatia.
It's Croatia, sorry, yeah.
Are we supposed to not know? I only say that because I've been to Croatia, so I recognise the number plate immediately.
All right, okay.
But the character doesn't immediately figure out that she's in Croatia.
I think we're supposed to
So I don't know if
know.
that's supposed to be ambiguous at that point.
Well, I didn't know.
Okay.
I mean...
Yeah, it might literally just be that I used to go there a lot as a child, so I just recognised the flag.
Well, the shop is set up to be like a mom and pop store in Arkansas.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but yeah, they give her too much change. Yeah. But then she figures it out, and it's non-verbal. You know she's figured something out, but she doesn't indicate what. So she kills one of the people, and then just as she kills the other person, she goes, the change for cigarettes is blah, blah, blah in Arkansas. You fucked up. And it's so, like, over the top.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
You meant to go, oh, this is awesome. This is so silly, but it's just silly.
Her performance is quite strange.
The lead?
Yeah.
In what way?
She's got a lot of, like, interesting little tics.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what they're supposed to indicate.
Right.
Like, there's the moment where she's sort of having the speech she's sort of speaking to, you know, in the bunker at the end, where she kind of slaughters everyone just before she goes to meet Hilary Swank, and the soldier is alive.
Yeah.
And she's sort of talking about how she served Crystal now, how she served in Afghanistan. And you can see like a tear rolling down her face and it's supposed to be emotional. But then she like pulls a weird face.
Okay.
She kind of goes, and she's sort of like...
Goons.
Yeah, kind of. And there's like moments when she's fighting where she's sort of like making these weird like verbalizations and sort of like chuckling to herself almost.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's supposed to say about the character. I don't know whether it's supposed to be like, oh, she's kind of traumatized from war and these are like these kind of weird tics are a side effect, or whether it's supposed to dehumanize her almost because she's supposed to be like a Rambo where she's sort of like a badass action hero. So she's sort of laughing in the face of danger. I don't know quite what's happening.
I think you've thought about it more than the director did. I would put it down to two things. One, just the director who had zero control, not like had it taken away from him, but just had no control over what was going on.
Yeah.
And so the actors could basically do whatever they wanted.
Okay.
And B, that's like acting school stuff. Like, give little tics that suggest you know.
But I don't know, because like in Prisoners, for example, where Jake Gyllenhaal, he blinks, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He like really, really blinks. Like
heavily.
Strong blink. Yeah, heavy blinking.
Yeah.
God, this film has made me dumber. He's sort of like very heavy blinking. Like that's a noticeable character beat.
Yeah.
But it's not distracting. It's just something you pick up. It's like, oh, that's...
Well, it's in a well-regulated film as well, that's the thing, you know?
Yeah, but it's sort of like, oh, that feels... There's no reason for that to be there.
No, that's pure, colour.
Yeah,
pure
but that detail sort of weirdly adds depth to him.
Yes. Well, I in that very specific example, I've seen interviews with John Hall where he said, for Prisoners, the idea is that the character used to be a drug addict, and so he has residual little tics that he picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see he's got tattoos all up his arm and everything, so you can sort of deduce, so maybe he was undercover and, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like details that do suggest depth, you know?
Yes.
Like, it is lazy. Like, as a writer, you kind of advise not to do that. Like, the character he's got a limp.
Yes. They do it a lot in Boardwalk Empire as well, because we're watching that at the moment.
Yes, but they do it well, crucially.
They do it well, but yeah, like this character will refer to himself in the third person. This character has like a weird laugh.
Yes.
There's little tics like that.
Yeah.
That make them like immediately identifiable.
Yeah, and again, that's fine as long as there's more than that.
Yeah. But they don't really they don't sort of interrupt the flow of things. I know in Boardwalk Empire there's a couple of instances where they'll directly reference the character tic.
Yeah.
But like in Prisoners, for example, Jake Gyllenhaal just blinks.
Yes,
no one
that's
goes,
just his
why are
thing.
you blinking like that? He just blinks. Whereas in this, she's like pausing during a fight to make a weird face.
Yes, and like in Nightcrawler, for example, the not blinking at all thing.
Yes, yeah.
I doubt that was directed. I could be wrong, but that was him probably going, I should always be very like intense. And again, things like that suggest things rather than this where you go, what are you doing?
Yes.
I'm not getting anything from this.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think there's anything to be got from it.
Not really.
No protein, no sugar.
Yeah.
Nothing.
What is it with Hilary Swank and turning up at the end of films?
I don't like Hilary Swank, I gotta say.
Okay.
I'm just not a fan of her. There's something about her that turns my stomach every time I see her.
But yeah, in Logan Lucky, which came out 2017,
yeah,
I think, she turns up at the very end of that. And in this film, she kind of turns up at the very end as well.
Yeah, it's sort of a reveal that she's in it, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like when the camera sort of pans around her, because the problem as well, because there are so many like twists and turns in the film, it's like, oh, this character's dead, now this character's dead, oh, this character isn't trustworthy, and this character isn't trustworthy.
Yeah.
Like, I thought at that point the reveal was going to be that Crystal was the main bad guy.
Yeah.
And the film is going to try and contrive why she's killed everyone, but also she was in control.
Well, you're meant to sympathise with them, aren't you? Because what's the big twist for the Liberals is they've all been cancelled, right?
Yeah, the idea is that they've all... at the beginning of the film, you see like a series of text messages where they refer to the hunt.
Chat. Yeah.
And basically the idea is that the hunt is this conspiracy in which right-wingers believe that these left-wingers are capturing right-wing people, taking them out to this place and hunting them down for sport.
Yes.
The film then happens, and that seems to be confirmed.
Yes.
But then Hilary Swank says, oh, the reason that we did this is because you made up this bullshit.
Yeah.
We all got cancelled for it.
Yeah.
So as revenge, we did it.
Which I find really interesting because I don't know whether this is, it was intended to invert an expectation or invert a stereotype, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or is indicative of the ignorance of the writers. Because cancel culture is pretty much exclusively a leftist domain.
Yes.
Right-wingers don't cancel each other.
No.
Sometimes to their detriment. They let Nazis speak sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, like, oh, we all got cancelled because of you. It's like, no, that's the wrong way around. But I don't know whether they were trying to go, oh, look, see, the left can be cancelled as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, she says that, and her big thing is, like, your paranoia created the thing that you were afraid of.
Yeah.
So I think you're supposed to go, oh, that's the point of things.
But I hate that justification.
But then, almost immediately, Crystal reveals that she's actually the wrong Crystal.
Yeah.
They just, instead of the person who said, like, oh, you did these things, she's just, like, a random person that they picked up by accident.
Yeah.
So it immediately sort of diverts away from the politics. And that's another example of, like, well, what is this film doing? Because you've just introduced this very sort of politically entrenched idea that seems to be the foundation of... Well, it is. It's the foundation of everything that happens in this film. It's why the events of this film happens.
Yeah.
And then you've immediately discarded it.
Yeah.
You're not going to explore it. It's like, oh no, this person is... I'm here by accident. Let's fight now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for one, I think that maybe this is a term ripe for Sam's Lexicorner, actually. An idea ripe for Sam's Lexicorner.
Okay. Do we play the theme song?
No, I don't have the term yet.
Oh, I see.
But I've got the idea. For me, basically 100% of the time, but there might be some rare exceptions, you are not allowed to do a camera reveal in a film for an actor. You can do it for a character. Okay. It was this character all along.
Yes.
You're not allowed to do it for an actor. Because that is completely film breaking. It's going, we got this actor to be in the film.
Yes, yeah.
In Indiana Jones, but that's the character. The
Expendables, for example, when Arnold Schwarzenegger walks in. Because at the time he wasn't making films.
That is fine.
Yeah.
Like a weird example, Under Siege 2.
Okay.
Right?
The best film ever made, right?
It's up there.
Yeah.
You go in to watch that for a dumb Steven Seagal film.
Yes.
And so I kind of allow it when he pulls up outside the restaurant in the beginning and his head is turned away from the camera and then he turns and looks and the music surges.
Right, okay.
For no reason.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, look, it's Steven Seagal. That's what the film is saying.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, ooh, it's Hilary Swank. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who knows who Hilary Swank is? Like, well, obviously we do, but generationally.
Okay.
Is she the big... Look, we got Hilary Swank.
I have genuinely no idea where she stands in the pantheon of pop
She
culture.
won an Oscar in like 1999 and 2004.
Okay.
And now, I think there was an episode of The Office that was dedicated to is she hot or not? I can't tell.
Oh, their equivalent of the Nick Cage episode in Community. Is he a good actor or a bad actor?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll think of a term for that and we can slot it in at some point.
All right. And yeah, I know it's sort of, we're kind of covering the same point over and over again. But like at the end of the film where the fight is sort of over and they're both like dying and Hilary Swank is like, be honest with me now, are you the real Crystal? And she goes, I'm genuinely not the real Crystal.
Yeah.
And Hilary Swank goes, whoops.
Yeah,
and then she dies.
Oh, that's funny.
Is it?
That's what you meant to think, right?
Okay.
Oh, how irreverent.
Yeah.
How iconoclastic. They threw a grenade into the cathartic ending.
Yeah.
I kind of think but on a separate point, I hate that justification. I've seen that in other TV shows and in life. People saying, oh, if you think I'm a this, then fuck it, I'm going to be a this. What kind of an excuse is that?
Yeah, but that's and I don't know whether this is good writing or not. The idea that, or whether it's just me looking into it. But you have that reveal of the justification, like, oh, you said I did these things, so I did these things to prove you right. I hope you're happy with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And then at the very end, she calls her Snowball.
Yeah.
Animal Farm. Snowball is the head pig or something.
Napoleon is the head pig, but
They say in the film, I think Snowball is like the idealist.
Maybe, I can't remember the characters.
The pigs turn on him or something because he gets ideas above his station or something like that.
Yeah, well, there's that rule, isn't it? All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
Yes, yeah. And then Crystal goes, actually, you got it wrong because blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So in that instance, I think you, Hilary Swank, you should be the Snowball.
Yes.
And I don't know whether that's whether that's the film showing that Hilary Swank doesn't know what the fuck she's on about.
Right.
So it's sort of, it's supporting the idea that Hilary Swank is in the wrong. Or whether it's just another detail that the film is throwing on the fire.
Here's the thing. Again, God knows because of how muddled the film is. But I don't think you're meant to ever think, broadly speaking, I think you're meant to think Hilary Swank and that lot are in the wrong, but politically they're neutral. Both are like misunderstanding each other, misrepresenting each other.
Okay.
But the liberals are the bad guys, but not because they're liberals. Just in this particular example. I think that thing at the end is meant to be showing, oh look, a Republican who's dexterous with literature. Right. I genuinely think that's what it is.
Okay.
That's meant to surprise Hilary Swank. Oh, look at you. Yeah. Good for you. You can write a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a recommendation.
No. Do we respect what this film was trying to do?
No.
Okay.
No. I think it was always on a high end nothing because even though, like you say, it's fairly broad.
Yeah.
I think the precise political climate that it's trying to reflect won't be here forever. There will always be divide, but there won't always be, hopefully, this level of insanity.
Yeah.
And cancel culture. Like, hopefully that dies out and, yeah, it's giving itself a shelf life.
I do genuinely like the idea, though, of a film that's sort of trying to speak to the apolitical.
Right.
Or the people who are not engaging in political discourse. Because you have films that are sort of like very left-leaning. These could be just broad generalizations on my part, but I feel like you have left-leaning films that sort of act as though they're impartial, but then they sort of paper over the reality of things with their like the stuff that sort of like appeals to their ideology.
Right.
So, we'll I don't know. I was going to give an example, but I can't think of an example. Okay. And then you have right-wing films that are sort of more honest in the fact that they're political. But they almost...
You don't get them, is the simple fact
okay,
of the matter.
Well, the
documentaries aside, you don't get them.
Right-wing media, then, where it's sort of like, it's sort of like, almost enjoys too much that it's political.
Right.
Like, you have things like, I don't know, Stephen Crowder, for example.
Right.
Where it's sort of, like, they really lean into sort of the right-wingness of it.
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the right-wingness, because right-wingness is just a set of beliefs. It's an ideology, right?
The cliched, the right-wingness that this film is depicting, then, I should say.
Typically, conservatives are reserved, right? That's like their thing. They don't talk about politics much. I would say Stephen Crowder, that sort of thing, it's leaning more into the defining yourself in opposition to the thing. So let's make obscene jokes. Let's go out there and really like push guns and make sketches about it and... Yeah. Characterizing themselves in a way.
Yes.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So you have those two, which, as I'll admit, like they might not be completely accurate, but these are just like impressions that I've got based on the media that I've consumed. You have those two, and then you have films that sort of try and avoid this altogether. It's like the moment it gets even slightly political, it's like, nope. Yeah. I want nothing to do with this. So I do like the idea of a film that's sort of like like even though it's sort of like depicting politics, the film itself is kind of apolitical.
But this is sort of my reservation in a way. Surely just an apolitical film is a film that just doesn't deal in these areas whatsoever.
Okay, apolitical might be the wrong word.
Yeah, no, an apolitical film would be, you're saying like trying to speak to people who are frustrated by...
Yeah, politically neutral then as opposed to apolitical.
Okay. But surely that's just any film where the themes transcend politics, you know? Because politics, ultimately, it's a low level, it's a low rung on the kind of principle ladder, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
It's easy to make a film that is not political.
Well, you've got those people who say, like, oh, any film is political.
But not really. But that's rubbing in other ideas into your camp.
Yeah, and it depends, doesn't it? Because I saw interviews when the Lego movie was coming out saying that, oh, it's a very right-wing film because the villain is Lord Business, so it's sort of criticising big business and...
So it would be a left-wing film.
Oh, is that it?
Right loves business.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, in that case, it's a left-wing film. Yeah, because it was on Fox News, I saw this.
Yeah.
Yes, so the film is very political because it's criticising big business because the villain is a businessman.
Right.
Even though it's not. Like, the idea is that it's creativity versus following the instructions.
Yes.
And if you're going to sort of abstract that, business and following the instructions go together quite
But see, that would be an example, a perfect example of, creativity versus kind of regimentation.
Yeah.
That would typically be, creativity is left-wing.
Yeah.
Regimentation is right-wing.
Yes.
But that is fallacious.
That's not in the film at all.
But that's something where they could go, it's political because it's highlighting the creative over its
Well, that's what sort of why I brought it up. Like, how much of it is, yes, films these days are generally political, and it is kind of impossible to avoid politics in your film, and how much of it is the audience is bringing politics to the film.
Well, look,
it's not the films can't avoid politics, it's that the audience can't help but imprint on it.
I don't think you can make, or it would be difficult to make, an amoral film. I don't mean immoral.
Yeah.
I mean a film that didn't have a value in it.
Okay.
In some way.
Yeah.
Because the whole implication of a character arc implies that something's better than another thing.
Yes.
The beauty of film.
Yeah.
One of the beautiful things about film is your relationship with them changes as you change.
Yes.
I see different things in my favourite films that I never saw before.
Yeah.
And I have different interpretations of them. And if everything's going to be political, then basically any film made before 1960 is going to be a right-wing film because it's holding up traditional family values.
Yeah. The
woman is a housewife and the man is a businessman.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to do that, then okay. But that's just not how it works, you know? Pixar films about, I don't know, like what's Onward? What could you say about that? That the mother there, it's left-wing because they're saying that a single mother can raise 2 boys.
Right, okay.
But no, it's right-wing because she does need a man because she has a boyfriend in the film.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're doing.
Nuts. Stupid. Yeah. You know, you can't think of things like that.
No.
Yeah, this film is, I guess, trying to appeal to the people frustrated with, in the chasm between the canyons.
Yes.
But if I really was like, I'm sick of all that, I wouldn't want to go see a film that was trying to teach me a lesson about it. I just would want to go see Onward or The Lion King. Or something that had nothing to do with any of this stuff, which is the world in which most people exist, you know?
Yes, that's
This
true.
isn't for a broad audience, really. It is in the action, violence, comedy sense.
Yeah.
But if you knew what it was, it's for people already interested in that sort of stuff. It's for the bubbles.
Yeah. Well, both bubbles have adopted it as, this is a glorification of the other side.
If my grandfather watched this film, references like deplorables, like, what's that?
Yeah.
Not a clue, you know? So this isn't, it thinks it's pitched to everyone.
Yeah.
But it's not really.
Okay. That's your final word.
That's my final word on the hunt.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend. I mean, it's interesting in theory.
Yeah.
But the execution lets it down. It's a very simple film in every respect, I think.
Yes.
It's not creative visually. It's not creative writingly. Give me a better word.
What, then writingly?
Yeah. Fuck it. It's not creative on a script level. Yeah. It's not creative on a visual level. The satire is too shallow and the violence. Yes, and the violence is too shallow.
Yeah.
And the politics are too shallow.
Yes.
And the violence isn't fun enough.
Yes.
Yes. That's what I have to say about The Hunt.
I love a bit of that deep violence. You know?
Profound violence.
I thought Sicario when I thought that.
Deep violence.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a cost. Breaking Bad as well. That's deep violence, I
the
guess,
violence
right?
isn't like you have the fun moments.
Yeah.
But then you have 2 episodes of Breaking Bad sort of dealing with the fallout of that.
Maybe heavy is a better word than deep then.
Yeah, okay.
Where, it has a weight to it. But I suppose if it was heavy enough, it would bore a hole into the ground, so it would have depth. Abstract.
Are you done with that? Are you done with that?
Done with the
whatever that was?
Thing. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the other thing that we watched this week, the 12th series of Doctor Who recently happened. You'll know by looking at the time we uploaded this, like when this was recorded. I didn't like it.
Did you not?
I did not like it, as I think most normal, sensible people would think. So I was kind of talking to you and Eddie about this, and then something kind of miraculous happened.
Was that the word you used?
Yeah, okay. You sort of proposed the idea of watching Doctor Who. Yeah. Which is something that you've always that you've never really seemed willing to do before. No. This podcast, it's a wonderful thing. I can just get you to watch anything these days, can't I? Yeah, so you propose, we watch Doctor Who, New Who, I should say. We're not going to do Classic Who. I haven't seen Classic Who, but there's just so much of it.
Too much.
And there's 97 episodes that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So the completionist within me would never be able to cope with the fact that you can never finish Doctor Who. But yeah, you proposed that we watch a series of Doctor Who a week, and we talk about it on the podcast. Yes. So that's what we're going to do. And that's what we did. We watched series 1 of Doctor Who. Sam. Yes. Well, firstly, what was your sort of opinion of Doctor Who before this exercise began?
I'd seen a few episodes across, spanning years of New Who.
Yeah. We'll just say Doctor Who as a shorthand.
Okay, Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay, the stuff I'd seen. Okay. I'm not partial to that sort of stuff anyway, and I think even when I first saw it, I was past the age where it could really have an impact on me.
Yeah, because you didn't watch it as a child, did you?
No, 17 maybe was the first time I saw it. Right, okay.
Yeah, so you kind of missed the boat on it being a nostalgic thing for you.
Yeah. Nostalgic, we'll sort of get to that, but there was nostalgia for it in the sense of being 10, 11 when it started. Yeah. And it being part of the cultural landscape and knowing about it.
Yes. Because I've mentioned this on a previous podcast as well, but we live in South Wales, so we live in the epicenter of Doctor Who. I used to live a 5-minute walk from the studio where they actually filmed Doctor Who, and most of the exterior locations are places that we both recognise and visit most days. Yes. So even if you're not watching the show, you're fully aware of Doctor Who's existence.
Yeah. Not so much in that sense. I knew Doctor Who was... Okay. No, for me, you said before that we are in the epicenter. I've never felt that personally. I've never felt, I am in Doctor Who. Okay. But you would if you watched it, I suppose. Yes. Yeah, it was always off to the side for me. Okay. I never wanted to watch it as a kid, Right, okay. It just never appealed to me. I was
too busy reading books and being clever, was it?
Yes. I knew it was cheap.
Yes.
The production quality, not the, its essence. Yes. I knew the iconography. Everyone knows the iconography. Yeah. And I knew that you loved it. So that, part of me wanted to be a contrarian to that. Okay.
Well, I was going to say, did you ever have you obviously didn't have a high opinion of the show, but did you have a low opinion of the show? Basically, the question I'm leading up to is, what were you hoping to change by finally watching Doctor Who in its entirety?
I wasn't hoping to change anything.
Okay, or confirm. Change or confirm,
Yeah. Realistically, the reason that I suggested watching it was for this podcast. Okay. I wasn't trying to get anything out of it, per se. Okay. I didn't want to confirm my perception or highlight my misconception. I didn't want to do anything like that. Okay. It was just, you and Eddie are both fairly fluent in it. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I should kind of earn my stripes as a critic, I suppose. Okay. Because it's one thing to be like, that's juvenile, I'm never going to watch that. Yeah. And then watching it and still having that opinion. Okay. So yeah, that, I suppose. Okay, I suppose. Thing. Do the required reading. Yeah, okay. Well, obviously, I am a very big fan of Doctor Who. I did watch it when it came back. Yeah. My parents were fans of it when they were kids, so they introduced it to me in time for the revival. Loved it instantly, captured my imagination. Again, on a previous podcast, was it
all these Jewish faux pas where we talked about Doctor Who. I think that was the name of the episode. Okay. I think that was the name of it. We talk about it too long, granted.
Yeah.
But I think that was the name of the episode. I sort of theorize that the reason there's such a vibrant sort of amateur filmmaking scene in South Wales at the moment is almost entirely thanks to Doctor Who.
Right.
I know you sort of
rejected that.
You rejected that, and you are also kind of proof to the contrary.
Yes.
Because you never engaged in Doctor Who, and yet you still want to be a screenwriter and a creative, and you have like pursued creative things creatively. That sentence ran out of steam before I was ready to finish speaking.
All right.
Yeah, but I think I genuinely think like so many people were inspired by not just that they were inspired by it, but they sort of Doctor Who was their entryway to the sort of the skeleton of filmmaking, so kind of the behind the scenes stuff. I remember like the very first thing I did that you could, I suppose, correlate with editing is I would recreate the credits of Doctor Who in Microsoft PowerPoint.
Right.
That's literally the first thing I ever did before I even got editing software. And there are so many people that I've sort of spent time with in the creative field that are huge fans of the show and they've written fan scripts and they've created things which could be attributed to like fan films. So yeah, I genuinely think that the show has a lot to answer for. I suppose in terms of
I definitely think it's got its part to play. I don't think it's the primary fuel, if you know what I mean.
It's got to be a major factor though, surely. I can understand you rejecting the theory that it's like, oh, this is the reason.
Yeah.
But it has to be a major factor. I mean, we have like production studios in Cardiff that are named after.
Yeah, sure.
Like parts of the show.
The drive for young people to become creatives. If we're doing like a pie chart.
Yeah.
I don't think the main slice would be Doctor Who.
Okay.
I think it'd be in there, but I don't think it would be it would take up most percentage of it.
Okay. All right.
I think it would be because it's cheap.
Right.
Cheaper than it was to make films.
Okay.
But in a similar vein, I'm also, I think even as a child, skeptical of things that are very popular. I don't want to like things that every other kid likes.
Right.
I was always like that.
I mean, I have that in me.
Yeah.
I will never watch Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I'm certainly not going to watch it now that the ending has happened, because I know there's nothing to look forward to.
Yeah.
With that show. You've said multiple times the first 4 seasons are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll live without.
Yeah.
I'll have to live without not seeing those.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that impulse in me as well.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe I just sort of got on the train at the right time.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I mean, I do have the contrarian impulse, but I never let it stop me from watching things that I want to watch.
Okay.
So it's not a case of I'm not going to go see The Dark Knight because everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not that bad.
No.
As in stopping yourself from watching Game of Thrones.
Well, it's
the only reason that you won't watch it.
No, it's also fantasy, which I have a weird aversion to.
Okay.
I still don't quite know why, but I just can't bring myself to engage with fantasy.
I have an aversion to fantasy as well.
Yeah.
But I also have an aversion to things with strong fan communities, strong fan bases.
Well, Doctor Who is a perfect example.
Exactly.
Of that.
Yeah. So sci-fi, fantasy, genre things that the fanboys love.
Okay.
I have a superiority complex.
It's not that for me though. It's much more surface level. I just find I'm completely fine with sci-fi. I like sci-fi a lot, but fantasy, there's something almost cringe-inducing about it to me.
Okay.
I know that it's not. I mean, it has to be somewhat deep,
right?
Because of my complete unwillingness to engage in it.
Well,
but
yes,
it doesn't. I don't feel like it's there's no trauma there or anything that's going to stop me. I don't know.
I know
why.
what you mean, and it is kind of it's because it's the stories that you first hear. Kings, dragons, queens, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I get like Lord of the Rings is silly.
Okay.
Right? It just is. Goblins and orcs and all
I'll take your word for it.
I'm not saying it's like stupid.
Okay.
But it is goblins and this and elves.
That's
and
supposed
all
to be a satire, right?
Not a satire necessarily.
But it's supposed to be the orcs represent, not the orcs,
an allegory.
Yeah, the hobbits represent blah blah blah.
Yeah. Whereas Game of Thrones, there are obviously whenever you see advertised, it's always with the dragons.
Yeah.
But it's basically historical fiction.
Yeah, it seems almost like a political drama that's set in a fantasy
It's
world.
House of Cards, but in a medieval context.
Okay.
So typically I'm like, I don't want to get involved with anything that seems more obsessed with details than anything else.
Right.
I don't like detail-heavy things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doctor Who's definitely that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my...
Okay,
impression.
well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is, like I said, this is going series by series, so we're only talking about series 1 today. And I know that I've like talked about the show with you before, and I know that like it's not a mystery what's coming. You kind of know what you're in for.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know like the minutiae of specific stories or anything like that, you broadly know what to expect going forward.
Yep.
But I don't know how much to kind of talk about that with you.
Let's try and treat it as if they don't exist.
Yeah.
The following seasons don't exist.
Because I think it's an interesting exercise to have someone who watches as much television as you.
Yeah.
So someone who's kind of like televisually and sort of critically literate as you. To watch this kind of British Institutes.
Yeah.
For the first time. Institution. With sort of fresh eyes.
Yeah.
I'm sort of curious to see if you agree with the general consensus. Firstly, with me, but also with the general consensus of what is like the best episodes and what are the best characters and stuff like that.
I've avoided reading up on any of it.
Yeah.
For that reason. Yeah, I don't know what the critical consensus is about any of it, really.
Okay.
I know that Tennant is broadly considered the best Doctor, but that's kind of it.
Okay.
So let's just treat it like this season exists in isolation.
Okay. So with that in mind, what did you think of Series 1 of Doctor Who?
It's okay.
Okay. All right then.
Yeah, I mean, right, I'm... In terms of what I want to get out of it, in terms of enjoyment, it's kind of fun performances and interesting, fun concepts.
Okay.
I'm not looking to have my mind blown by Doctor Who.
Okay.
Or bent or manipulated in any way, really.
Right.
Lathered.
Okay.
I want my mind lathered by Doctor Who.
I see.
I do still consider it a children's show. I know you prefer the term family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, I suppose. But in thinking of it as a children's show, it's helped me watch it.
Okay. All right. I do think there are... maybe this is true of later seasons, but I do think there are definitely instances where the show is like... okay, in this instance, the show is appealing to the children. In this instance, it's appealing to older members of the audience.
Yes.
And sometimes it manages to do both.
Yeah.
But I think there are like perfect examples in this season of like, okay, this is playing to a younger audience, this is playing to a slightly older audience, you know? Which is why I think it's a family show.
Okay. It's silly.
Yes.
It is silly.
Yeah.
It's goofy. Terrible graphics.
Oh yeah.
But that
I think this is I don't even think these were recorded in HD. I know I'm pretty sure the CG is in HD.
No, it's probably pre-HD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's dated poorly, and it was sort of it looks like a soap opera almost.
Yeah, but it's kind of famous for that. You know, talked even in the 60s. I think it was considered cheap for the 60s.
Oh yeah,
you know, it was always kind of as part of its charm.
Well,
you know,
it's
that's
interesting,
what's very
isn't
British
it? Because
about it.
It's interesting that it's a show that, by its own admission, could do literally anything, and yet it has one of the most restrictive budgets out there.
Well, yeah, an interesting kind of clash in a way, but again, it's sort of part of the charm.
Yeah.
The cutesy graphics, which are just bad.
Oh yeah.
Explosions, and they're just bad.
Yeah.
But then what I've been calling organic artifice. So costumes, you know, real world, like models, sets.
Yes.
Things that are real, you know.
Doctor Who has very, very good practical.
Yes.
Like makeup
practical
and effects and stuff.
Yeah. And the weird clash with, because the monsters even in 2005 do look like people in costumes.
Oh yeah.
But then mixed with this weird cheap, these cheap SFX.
Yes.
It's interesting.
Okay.
It's kind of a hodgepodge, a mishmash, higgledy-piggledy, all those words.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. You'll get to that.
A paratactical bricolage.
You would say panic attack.
It's a panic attack of a show. Yeah, and that sort of helps to view it in isolation, because I think Doctor Who, if the lessons of the first season are anything to go by, you have to watch it episode to episode.
Okay.
And knowing...
Do you quickly want to explain what paratactical bricolage is, if I even said that correctly?
Yeah, well, it's something I read in a university course book.
I know that's sort of become a joke amongst us about like that's the type of language you use at university.
All different types of form mashed together.
Okay.
Like building a brick wall out of different concepts.
Would you say that The Hunt is an example of paratactical bricolage?
Yes, but done badly.
Okay.
Yeah. The cement is slime.
Right.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, you were saying episode to
episode. And I feel like, not knowing much about future seasons, any move away from that will reduce the show for me.
Okay.
I like episode to episode. And like that weird higgledy-pigglediness of it.
Mm-hmm.
helps in viewing it episode to episode, where you just feel it's this one little Lego structure.
Okay.
And then you move on to the next one.
Okay.
I think the effect, in a weird kind of abstract way, the collision of effects approaches helps solidify its identity to me.
Okay. That identity being, if you haven't said already,
unclean, but not in a bad way.
Okay.
A stew, a salad.
Okay.
Yeah, a salad of different things meshed together that sometimes work and sometimes don't.
I do wonder if, because the Doctor of this season is Christopher Eccleston, this of course being his only season, and he has...
I got cramp in my leg.
Oh, sorry. We'll give you a minute to
that's right.
readjust.
It's gone now.
Yeah, he has his natural accent in this. It is his natural accent, isn't it? Yeah, which is kind of like northern...
Yeah, Manchester.
Manchester, yeah. Which is something they address in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because most Doctors up until that point have been RP. In fact, I think they've all been RP.
Yes.
So I don't know whether that's sort of supposed to add to the uncleanliness of it. That like he's got this this sort of regional accent, so it's a bit like this is kind of like a rougher.
This is rebooted. This is Doctor Who of the 21st century.
Yeah, not grittier. I wouldn't call it grittier, but it's just kind of like grittier. It's more rougher and like down to earth. Like the companion comes from like a council estate. Yeah, and she's like chav, and she comes from like this.
Well, that's the thing. Back
family,
the BBC, they have the BBC for their news reports have very specific breakdowns on how you pronounce words.
Yes,
Yeah. If you watch the King's Speech, that starts with a man kind of having to speak like this very deliberately.
Yeah. Which there was a lot of that in
a lot of that, and I get that, like that, but yeah, it's kind of nice that they've roughed him up a little bit, I suppose. Not rough. He's a bit more common. He's a bit more in the gutter.
You can sort of feel the fingerprints of it almost, can't you?
Yeah.
It's like
they give him a leather jacket, not a
it's not like it's not like they're trying to make him cool. They're just It's rougher might be the words that we're just going to stick with.
Although urban's kind of become a euphemism for black.
It's not that.
No, it's not that.
Well, it's sort of the difference between...
It's got that, though. It's got that urbanity to it.
Yeah, it does.
Urbaneness.
I was going to say it's the difference between Leica and Aardman. Like Aardman, you can see the fingerprints on the claymation puppets, and it feels very like stiff and rough and handmade. Whereas Leica's animation is flawless. Yeah. But because it's so flawless, it looks digital. Yes. So you don't get to appreciate the artistry of it. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Doctor Who, because the artifice is so like obvious, the CG being so bad and everything like that, you do kind of like when the show is doing something when it's sort of trying to take itself a bit more seriously, or when it's trying to do something dramatically. You sort of, I feel like you kind of appreciate that a bit more.
Well, again, it's that marriage of like analog and digital, isn't it? Of like craft and pixels, brickety-brack. I want to use all the words that I can, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I think it's going to be, personally for me, hard to beat Christopher Eccleston. Okay.
I know we just said we're going to pretend the other series don't exist. Yeah. But I've said this to you off air already, so I'll say it on air. Yeah. I think he's going to be your favourite Doctor.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I think it's going to... I have a bias in that I really like Christopher Eccleston as an actor. Mm-hmm. And he seems like a nice bloke as well.
Okay.
In real life. So, I just think he owns it. I think he does really well with the role.
Okay.
And I just don't know... I could see something that was equally good, but I don't know that Tennant is going to blow me away. Like, oh man, you blew him out of the water.
Okay.
I think he's going to be hard to beat.
Okay.
Personally.
Right. Yeah, I think the idea is that Series 1 is sort of considered the underrated season. Because there's a couple of things in it that sort of like, that are kind of not redone, but there are sort of facsimiles of them in later series that are sort of done better.
Right.
So, for example, you said that this is basically episode to episode. And it is. It's a very episodic show, but it does have a through line. The series does kind of have a very loose through line.
Very loose.
Very loose through line. And it's probably one of the weakest, if not the weakest, of Russell T Davis's run.
Okay.
Bad Wolf, we're talking about. Where it sort of feels almost like an Easter egg. And at the very end, the justification of it feels very weak.
Yes.
It's like, this doesn't really feel like it was all building to this. Yeah. Also, Russell T Davis, his kind of iconic monsters, or the monsters that you remember from his era, there's sort of one every series.
Right.
In this series, I would say it's probably the Slitheen.
Yeah.
I know The Empty Child is considered like one of, if not the best story of this series, and it is an iconic monster, But the Slitheen, they come back.
Well, when I think of monsters from the season, I think of the Slitheen.
Yes, and there's sort of one every season, like the Uda to come and the Jadoon to come.
Okay.
But the Slitheen, I think they're a bit cringe. I don't like the Slitheen.
They're terrible. Yeah. Because that episode...
That's an example of it appealing to its younger audience.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, because it's double, isn't it? Yeah. That double episode is weird, because it's a lower key double episode.
Lower key how?
In terms of it's not galactic and, it's kind of...
Oh yeah, it's all kind of in London.
It's all in London. It's all parliamentary and the Prime Minister has been taken over by this... Which is kind of not a children's story in a way.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's a bit...
But it's got big rubbery fart monsters in it.
But they fart. So it's a weird, okay.
Yeah.
That was maybe the only moment in the season where I felt like, all right, it's broken it a bit now.
Okay.
Because even watching it for children, fart gags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you mind not farting while I'm saving the world?
Yeah.
Would you rather silent but deadly?
Yeah, exactly.
That hasn't held up at all.
Russell T Davies is a really good writer.
Okay. Broadly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think...
Did you know this before? Is this just confirmed?
No, I thought that before, yeah.
Okay.
Clever, neat little kind of scripts. Mm-hmm. Doctor Who's one of those shows where the fewer questions, the better sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't like it when things are trying to explain its lore or the way it is.
Yes.
But this was pitched at the right level for me.
Okay.
So even though it makes no sense, actually, that line where she says, "Why do you sound northern?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Loads of planets have a north." That to me is right. That makes no fucking sense.
Okay.
Yes, okay, Mars has a north, but you still wouldn't sound like Manchester.
Mancunian, if you were from Mars.
But it's okay, that's clever. That's a witty line. So I'll let it go. I'll drop it.
Yeah. No, I think the show is good at... Well, I say the show. I think Russell T Davies in this season, because we're only talking about that. I know I've broken that already by referring to later seasons.
Yes.
But I think he's good at doing that. He's good at sort of finding the right level where it feels like it's being explained enough. It's not getting bogged down in the minutiae and the practicality of everything, but it's not dismissing it either.
No.
It's sort of finding the right response to it, so that you can still be caught up in the momentum of the stories.
Yeah, and it largely did that for me.
Yeah. What was your favourite episode?
It's a competition between Dalek and Father's Day.
Okay. Why?
Because... Again, I'm in it for the concepts, right? Yeah. So, the empty child and what's the other one?
The Doctor Dances.
The Doctor Dances. That double. I understand why that would be considered the best of the season.
I think it's sort of considered to be the first scary episode of the revival.
Okay. Again, maybe that's a problem.
Which is sort of the cliche of classic Who. It's the thing that every parent says, I was hiding behind the sofa when such and such came on the screen. And this is the first example of that in the new show, which I think is why it was held in such high regard.
But again, maybe that's an issue is, "Are you my mummy?" doesn't frighten the 25-year-old.
No.
That's not slap him over the head. Fuck off. I get that. And it's a big episode, and it introduces Captain Jack.
Yes.
And... I get that, and it's Blitz. It's very British.
Yes,
Blitz London.
Yeah, she's even wearing a Union Jack, isn't she?
She is. Yeah.
Rose. Yeah.
Rose. Yeah. But not for me. It didn't hit as highly for me.
Okay.
I like the smaller episodes. Dalek is a relatively small episode.
Yeah.
It's just set within a museum, kind of like underground.
Yeah, it's just
museum.
like an underground bunker.
Yeah. Where the central idea is something that's been programmed to kill that no longer has a purpose.
Yes.
What does it do with itself? And I thought, okay, that's a good sci-fi concept.
Yeah, it's a soldier that there's no one giving it orders anymore.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's all it can do.
Yeah,
fundamentally. Good sci-fi idea.
Yeah,
I like that. I thought that was nicely recognised.
Yes.
And then Father's Day. Go on. Did you want to say something?
No, I was only going to say, in the context of Doctor Who as well, because it's the reintroduction of the Daleks, the most iconic Doctor Who villain. It's nice that they sort of characterized it.
Yeah.
It's a character in that story. It's not an unstoppable force, which I think is what the Daleks quickly became.
Yes. Well, quick note about the Daleks. Obviously, everyone knows exterminate. Everyone knows that. But I forgot, because I did know this, it's not robotic. It's kind of mechanically filtered.
Yeah.
but it's so angry.
Oh yeah.
We are going to do this. I'm going to kill you now. So shit. That's a lot.
Well, they're Nazis, aren't they?
Yes,
they really lean into the Nazi,
Yes.
like, you know, screaming kind of.
Yes.
You hate.
Sick Heil.
Yeah.
I
It's
forgot
great.
that.
It's genuinely great. Nothing sounds like a Dalek. I love it.
No, but I was slightly going, oh, that's a lot. But it was fine, you know. Yeah, I like that. And then Father's Day, it was a good time travel story. You know? I don't know how the rules and kind of the physics of that hold up in later series, whether it means anything at all.
Okay.
It kind of felt like if a show that wasn't about time travel did a time travel episode, this is the kind of story they would do.
Okay.
Where it's about a girl saves her father from dying, but then he has to die so that kind of reality can course correct itself and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
I thought that was really well done.
Okay.
And it was an episode about character.
Yes.
Maybe the
the
first.
Doctor isn't really.
No.
Well, he's not important at all.
No, if you were going to call an episode Rose, it'd be that one.
Yes.
Even though it's the first one, right?
Yes.
The first one should be called Mannequins, let's face it. But
Wait, why? Other than them being the monsters, is that the only reason?
that's the only reason. It's the only thing I can remember from the first one.
Okay.
Or the Doctor returns. I don't know, something like that.
But it's about Rose. I think that's a nice.
It is.
It's a nice declaration that, like, oh, the companion is the
Yes.
person we should care about.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not in it for the Doctor. We're in it for the companion who's.
That's why they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's at least equal prominence.
Yeah, like we're seeing the Doctor through the eyes of his companion. That's how you should be approaching the show.
Yes.
And I don't think you ever see the Doctor outside of Rose's perspective in that episode. Like, if Rose isn't in a scene, you never see the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Kyle Reese to her Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they break that almost immediately. Like in episode 2, you see him and her in different locations.
Yeah.
But in that episode, like I said, if Rose isn't around the Doctor, we don't see the Doctor.
Yeah. I don't like Rose.
Okay.
She doesn't annoy me. Like, I don't dislike the performance.
Okay.
I just feel like Mickey's totally right.
No, he is.
She just fucks off. Like, you know, that's fine if she wants to do that, but she's just with her boyfriend and then just literally runs off smiling. That's cheesy. I gotta say, I know.
Yeah, but that is the early.
That was a
run
bit of a
show.
cringe.
That is what the show is like for a while.
I did cringe at that.
Okay.
Of like the puppy like running at us. Okay. And also because it builds up to the theme music, you know, that ending. And like that needs to be more epic than her running and opening a door and you don't even see what she's running into. But yeah, Mickey's totally right. 100% right.
Yeah, she is a bit of a bitch too.
She's a bit of a bitch.
I like that in Father's... Well, I don't know. I was going to say in Father's Day, obviously Rose saves her father's life. Mm-hmm. And in the first episode, at the end of the very first episode, the Doctor says, do you want to come with me in my machine? It travels through all of space. And she's like, no. And he's like, all right. So he leaves and he comes back and he goes, oh, but also it's a time machine.
Right.
And she immediately is like, right, I'm off. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the Doctor now.
Yes.
And then in Father's Day, they kind of float the idea that this was sort of what convinced her.
Yes.
Like, even though it's like episode 8, I think, of the series. So it's quite late in the series. All out of nowhere, all of a sudden, she's like, oh, I want to go see my father.
Yeah, that's covering her arse, that is. That's her self-denial. That's justifying to herself. Because she runs in glee for like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to go see aliens. And then, but later to go, oh no, my dad died. Yeah, I'm really here. I have a stern purpose. I have a sincere, you know.
Yeah.
Rather than, because you would. I mean, I would.
Oh yeah.
I'd run into the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Right. This is I know that the lore of the Doctor becomes so convoluted and whatever. Explain to me why Time Lord is a race when it seems like it's the machine that does all the work and I could operate it if I knew how to.
Hang on, what?
So you know he's got the TARDIS. Yeah. And he's a Time Lord. Yes. And Time Lord is a species, right?
Not quite.
Okay.
Gallifreyans are a species.
And what's a Time Lord's a job? Is it?
Sort of. You train to become a Time Lord. You have to go to an academy to become a Time Lord.
Okay, if it's a job, I can get behind it.
Yeah, but not everyone on Gallifrey is a Time Lord.
Okay, but as far... Because he keeps... I'm a Time Lord, but as far as I see it, just because you've got the DeLorean, like Marty McFly is not a Time Lord.
No.
He just drives a DeLorean.
Yeah.
The Doctor just drives the TARDIS. Why is he a Time Lord and I'm not, if I could learn how to drive it?
Right, okay.
But is that what it is? You need to be qualified. You need to have a driving license.
I think that's the idea.
Okay, that's fine.
Hypothetically, anyone could fly the TARDIS.
But yeah, you need the license to drive it.
Yeah, and there's like a couple of moments, I think even in Father's Day, the Doctor's like, when Rose says like, oh, you change time all the time.
Right.
How come I'm not allowed to save my father? And the Doctor's like, well, I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
And I know that's like the writer going, don't think too much.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's the idea, is that being a Time Lord, the Doctor is able to know when to act and when to sort of stand back.
Yeah.
So it's less about... Are you literally asking me, like why does the Doctor have to fly the TARDIS?
No. I was under the impression that Time Lord was like a type of being.
Right, okay.
And that didn't make sense to me, because it felt like if Time Lord was like your species, then your body would be the thing that is able to travel through time and space, not your vehicle. Right. Because otherwise anyone can be a Time Lord, right?
Okay, yeah.
But if it's a case of you need to have the degree, then that's fine.
Well, I mean, the TARDIS, or TARDISes, TARDISi, I don't know what the plural is, but they're like grown on Gallifrey.
Tards. Yeah.
Tards, yeah. Oh, that's a bit... I don't know about that. But yeah, they're grown on Gallifrey, and they're of Time Lord creation, I think. So there wouldn't be TARDISes without Time Lords.
Mm-hmm. Thinking about it, why is it called the TARDIS? Because TARDIS stands for time and relative dimensions in space. Yeah. But that's a concept, that's not a vehicle.
What do you mean?
Time and relative dimensions in space.
Dimension. I think it's singular.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Time and relative dimension in space.
Yeah.
It's like calling a car travel.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
it needs to be like the time box.
I mean, a TARDIS is a very complicated thing, which is something they do kind of explore.
It's like a living organism. I don't know,
the show hasn't happened yet.
It's an organism, isn't it? It's like a living
it's
thing.
alive. It's a real thing.
Right.
It's a living creature, almost.
Okay.
It has a consciousness.
But it is not time and relative dimension in space, is it?
Well, it depends, because it travels the interior of the TARDIS is a separate dimension. That's why it's bigger on the inside. It's a dimension packed into a smaller... Like, that's Time Lord technology.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I
being able to pack a dimension into a space that's smaller than the dimension itself.
Okay. But it feels like it's describing where it's travelling as opposed to what the object is.
Okay.
It's describing the object, not the subject. Again, it's like calling a ship the ocean.
Is this a soda moment?
I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Go listen to our previous episodes if you don't know what that is.
Yeah, we can't... The point of inventing these terms is we should be able to use them with impunity.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have done the reading.
Yeah. Suspension of disbelief.
Apologetic. Yeah.
Glean from that what you will, if you don't know what we're on about.
I guess.
Okay.
But I mean, you're the right... you wouldn't express that apologetic,
No. Well, Okay. One more time, very clearly as you can, lay out what exactly it is you're asking me.
As far as I see it, I could be completely off the mark here.
Yeah.
TARDIS is the name of the thing in which he travels.
Yes. The box. The box. The TARDIS.
The box. But TARDIS stands for time and relative dimension in space.
Yeah.
Which is the thing to which it travels, over whose domain it has.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the name of the vehicle. It shouldn't be called time space. It should be called the time space box. Well, it is like calling a ship the ocean or a car the road.
Well, relative dimension would be accurate, because as I've just said, like the TARDIS is a separate dimension. But I know the interior of it.
Yeah, but I know what that means though.
Well, the dimension is relative, because...
But all dimensions are relative. I don't know what that means. Well, in relation to what?
Well, the exterior of the TARDIS is smaller than the interior of the TARDIS.
Yes, so they occupy different dimensions.
Yes, sort of.
Right.
The dimension is relative because the space inside the TARDIS is significantly larger than the exterior.
Right.
Because even though we never really see it, the TARDIS is more than just a control room. It's a whole network of rooms.
Okay.
Basically.
But so let's say I'm looking at a video on my computer of a 3D thing.
Yeah.
On a 2D object.
Okay.
So theoretically, if you like, there's a larger space within the screen.
It's not really though, is it? Because it's a you're looking at it on a screen, so it's a 2D representation.
Okay, all right, but let's say,
a 3D object.
But let's say I could walk through the screen into a 3D space.
Okay.
What's that saying about anything?
I don't know, Sam. I don't quite know what's happening.
The TARDIS, it's magic, isn't it? It's a box that looks small and it's big on the inside.
Yeah, okay.
Where is it in time and space? I know what the outside is in time and space.
Yeah.
Where's the inside in time and space? Where is it in the universe?
I think it's in the box.
How?
Well, that is something you have to suspend your disbelief.
Okay.
Time Lords just have the capability of sort of condensing dimensions.
Do they do that
or
for anything else?
condensing space, I should say.
Do they do that for anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where they compact something larger into...
Yeah.
Okay.
That does come back as a concept.
All right. Just a name then. I think it needs to not be called the thing in which it travels to which it travels.
Is this an example of, we've just come up with this like makeshift little show that's not really going to become anything, so we'll just come up with like a silly name.
Yeah.
And oh shit, it's been going for 50 years. I guess this is a thing now. I guess it's just called the TARDIS. That's an icon.
I suppose it just needs to stop being an acronym and start meaning what it is. So instead of it being time and relative dimension and space, but we acronymize that to TARDIS, then TARDIS should begin to mean the vehicle, if you know what I mean.
Well, it does.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
because not everyone of everyone who knows TARDIS, I don't think everyone knows the acronym.
No, but like the acronym, it's all caps, isn't it? Like T.A.R.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is if you just capital T, then all lowercase ardis, that's fine. Then like the thing that it was once an acronym for has become the name for the actual thing.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. Is this a serious problem you had? Or is it just something that through the conversation it now feels bigger than it is?
Now thinking about it, it doesn't make sense that it's called what its focus is.
Okay, all right. Well, that's after you decide, okay, we're not rebooting it. This is the same continuity, kind of.
Right.
That is something you just have to live with.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You have to carry that forward.
It's not a problem
you know?
for me.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting niggle.
Okay.
Thinking about it. What else?
I guess I've never really thought about it. So it's
really,
it was, yeah. So it's sort of weird thinking about it now. It's like, I don't really know how to approach this quandary that you've put to me.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Do you like Jackie Tyler?
Oh, not really.
Oh, okay.
Are you supposed to like it?
Well, here's the thing. When I was a kid, I hated her, as I think most kids do, because she doesn't like the Doctor.
Yeah.
And it's like, how dare you don't like the Doctor?
Almost like a Skylar reaction. Go on.
Sure. But as I've grown up, I've liked her more and more.
Okay.
I like characters and, by extension, actors depicting these characters that just look like people.
Oh yeah, she's got that.
Instantly, oh, that's a person.
She does look like a council estate mum.
Yeah, you look at her and you're instantly like, yeah, you're real. I completely believe you.
In that sense, yes.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying her performance is transcendent and you know. But yeah, you look at her and it's like, yeah, I completely believe the role.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I'm not against her ethically. Like, I think her wanting Rose to stay is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, and I like her as like I said, as I've grown older, I've liked her more and more, and I think I've come to appreciate her purpose.
Okay,
which is that she's kind of like
home. Yeah,
she's home.
Yeah,
she represents home. Mm-hmm. You could have had Mickey just representing home.
Yes, but
it's nice that Jackie, like this person, she doesn't like the Doctor. She doesn't trust the Doctor.
Yes,
but that's something that she has to come to terms with, and it's sort of like it offers the opportunity for interplay between her and the Doctor, like these two people who don't like each other but have to get on because Rose is kind of something they have in common.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just really like that character.
No, I mean, not really. I put up with her when she's on screen.
Oh, okay.
I don't think much of anything about her, to be honest.
Okay. Who was your favourite character of the series?
The Doctor.
Okay. What else was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you a couple of things. I should have written them down.
The worst episode?
Yeah, go on.
The worst episode is the Simon Pegg one, The Long Game.
Yes, that feels like the only reason for that episode is, we need to set up Satellite 5.
Yeah. So
let's do an episode set there.
And the next Satellite 5 episode is the second worst, I think, in my opinion. Bad Wolf.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The you're referring to the Weakest Link and Trini and Susanna, yes. And yeah, that stuff hasn't aged well. It's an interesting little time capsule in and of itself. It's like, I guess this is what was popular at the time.
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant about being nostalgic in the sense, connected to that sort of... Oh, yeah, I remember The Weakest Link.
Yeah.
You know, it's very mid-noughties.
Oh, yeah. And it works twofold, again, because we live in South Wales. Mm-hmm. So whenever they do, location shooting... Mm-hmm. It's Cardiff, which is a place that we know, but it's Cardiff 15 years ago. Yeah. So there are locations they film in Cardiff which just don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice, I remember that.
Yes.
And it is also nice, in that, Big Brother, I could believe that Big Brother will last forever, or something similar to Big Brother will last forever. But yeah, The Weakest Link...
Is it still going?
It might be, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, like the weakest links, especially Anne Robinson, weakest link, and Trini and Susanna, that is very dated.
Well, it's a similar problem to The Hunt, which I don't think I'd be drawing a comparison. But being topical to your own detriment.
Yes.
So the fact that, I mean, when the Anne Robinson robot isn't, you are the weakest link, goodbye, and then shooting Daleks, that just felt way too, oh, come on. It felt like a special episode, like a comic relief episode.
Yeah.
Which I know the Doctor Who does a lot of that, right? Yeah. I get it. It's part of the fabric of Brit. You can't be precious about Doctor Who in the same way as you can about something like Breaking Bad, where it's like, oh, it's this unit like that is untampered with. That's not fair. It's bled into kind of everything in a way.
Yes.
You can't think of it in the same way as Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit too far for me. The Trini and Susanna giving John Barrowman a makeover.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, why? Is it because he's gay? Is that why they're doing that? I don't like him either. I don't like Jack Harkness.
Okay. Well, Russell T Davies loves Jack Harkness.
We know why he loves him.
Well, yeah.
Cock.
But yeah, he...
Russell T Davies is a homosexual, isn't he?
He is he?
Yes.
I know his...
Oh, yeah.
I know his writing...
I know his boyfriend is.
No, I know his writing deals with that a lot.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if he was or not.
Pop quiz. What was Russell T Davies's breakout TV show?
Oh, was it? Whatever it's called. Cucumber? Or whatever it's called?
He did that years after Doctor Who.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. Queer as Folk?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which also has Mancunians. It's set in Manchester.
Oh, okay.
Why? A Welsh writer and his leading character's a Mancunian. Maybe he got a blowjob in a Manchester nightclub or something.
He never got over it. There's a little detail that I picked up because I've watched these episodes so many times. Mm-hmm. They're not committed to memory in the sense that I could like recite it word for word. Mm-hmm. But there's very little about them I don't remember. Okay, broadly speaking. But there's a detail I picked up on this time that I've completely missed before. In Aliens in London, which is the Slovene two-parter. Yeah. They return to London present day, but Rose has been missing for a year. Yeah. And Mickey has this like ranted to the doctors, like everyone thought I was a murder suspect. Yeah. And Jackie is like frantic and like, oh my God, Rose, we thought you were dead. So naturally, because it's a year later, that episode is set in 2006, even though the series aired in 2005. For the remainder of the Russell T Davies run, present day remains a year ahead of the actual present day. Okay. So even when Martha turns up and that series is like set, it was airing in 2007. Right. Present day is set in 2008. Oh, okay. I thought that was a really nice detail. Yeah. Especially in a show with time travel where you could just go like, all right, we'll just like, we'll fix that. Yeah. They'll go back to actual present day. It's nice that they kept that consistent.
Well, there is no actual present day, is there?
No, there is that as well. But you could, just for the sake of ease, like, it's 2007. But no, they recognized it. They recognized that was a detail, and it's like, we'll stick by that. Yeah. But they don't make a point of it either. So it's something you pick up on and go, I like that.
This is sort of forecasting a little bit, but we've sort of had this conversation off air. Explain to me why it matters that they regenerate in terms of the sadness of the occasion.
Clarify a little more what you mean, just so I know that I'm giving you the right
when
answer.
Christopher Eccleston knows he's going to regenerate,
yes,
there's an air of tragedy and kind of portent to it.
Yes.
And then Rose is crying and upset when he is regenerating. Yeah. Why?
Well, on a practical level, it's because we're saying goodbye to the actor.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more about giving the actor a send off than it is giving the character a send off. But within the context of the show, I think the idea is that even though it's still the Doctor, it's still technically the same entity. Mm-hmm. It's a different version of him.
How?
So I guess it would be like if a different sperm were to have reached the egg first.
That's completely different.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so let's say if there's romantic interest and romantic affiliation, I get that.
Okay.
Obviously, Rose is romantically interested in him.
Is that obvious in the series?
It becomes fairly obvious by the end of it.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they kiss.
Well, that's... Isn't that sort of... I know that's like, it's a moment. But also, like, it's so that he can sort of reabsorb the vortex energy.
Me too.
I think I missed what you were going
I said hashtag me too.
Yes. Why did you say
like
that?
Kissing her against the world to absorb her energy. That's
right. Okay. All right. Don't ruin Doctor Who for me. more than it's already been
Doctor Who ruined itself?
More than it's already been ruined, but we'll get to all that.
Again, like if my girlfriend, purely hypothetical, this is sci-fi now.
Yes.
Was to regenerate into a new body.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be something. An adjustment would be necessary, and it would be a loss because you're losing the face of your love or whatever.
Yeah.
But outside of that, if I died, right?
Yeah, in inverted commas.
Yeah. But came back completely the same, but with a different body.
Yeah.
Would you care? There's an adjustment like getting used to the new thing, but nothing's been lost, right?
Well,
the baldness is gone. No.
Well, to you, no.
What to you? What would you?
To you, if you're the person who's regenerated, then I mean, I don't think that's the case. I think even within the show, they kind of say that yes, it is still technically me, but it's sort of a different version of me.
Yeah, I need that precisely delineated for me.
I don't know if I can.
Okay.
I don't know if this is something that the show has explored.
Okay.
I mean,
is it just nebulous? Like, they're different, all right? It's kind of okay.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's mostly a practical thing, if we're being completely honest, because obviously you don't want the new actor to just be doing an impression of the old actor.
No, and it's kind of tantamount to the thing about the music swelling when we get an actor reveal.
Yeah,
it's the world outside of the show infecting the presentation.
Interestingly, though, I would say that because in that instance, it's like, oh, look at this famous person that we've managed to get.
Yeah.
And yet, the only time that the Doctor regenerates into an actor that was famous, like properly famous, at the time that they took on the role, was Peter Capaldi. Yeah. And that is probably the most underwhelming reveal of a new Doctor.
Oh, that's fair, yeah. I didn't mean it in the fame sense.
Yeah.
I meant it in the sense of the fact that it's a goodbye to the actor is the reason it's portrayed in the way it is.
Yeah, it's a goodbye to the actor, and also within the context of the story. I mean, it's kind of an interesting question, isn't it? It's an interesting hypothetical question. If my body were to change, but I'm still the same person, how do you react to that?
Okay.
I recognize that you're the same person, and that you're telling me that you're the same person, but you look completely different.
Yeah.
How can I believe you? You know?
Right.
And I don't know whether that's sort of implicit. That might be something that's explored in Classic Who. It might be something that's explored in later seasons that I'm just not remembering at the moment.
Yeah.
But it is, it's an interesting hypothetical, isn't it? How would you react if you were to reverse it so that I was to regenerate and I would go like, oh, but Sam, it's still me.
Honestly?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It'd be like a trip. I'm like, oh man, like...
Yeah.
Nothing, honestly. Genuinely nothing.
Okay.
If that was a thing we all did, we lose our shells and we become...
Well, that's different, isn't it? Because that's... Even in Doctor Who, it's not a normal thing to a human.
No. But I'm saying if... Assuming that was real, because otherwise we're dealing with a situation where I'm going, assuming it's real enough that I don't freak out.
Yeah.
No, why would I care? Oh, no, but I liked you the way you looked. Who cares?
It's still a hurdle you have to get over, though.
No, it wouldn't be. Why would it be?
Are you assuming...
I know it's you, right? There's no doubt here.
Okay.
Is that the case?
Yes. Well, let's take it so that it's like an exact mirror of what's happening in Doctor Who. You're kind of finding out as it's happening that this is a thing I can do.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah.
I look completely different. But I'm saying to you, oh, but I'm still me.
If it's a thing where like I'm unfamiliar with this concept.
Yes.
And you're springing it on me.
Yeah.
If like her, I've seen civilizations billions of years in the future, all that sort of thing. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt its possibility.
Okay.
But yes, I suppose there would be. I don't know. But that's putting myself precisely in her shoes.
Yes.
If it's a case of, I suppose I am asking for future seasons.
Okay.
If I know that's a thing, and I know this is how it works,
yeah,
and then you just come back in a new body, I don't know why there'd be any tragedy to that.
Well, it's I suppose it also depends on the depth of the relationship, doesn't it?
Why?
Well, if you're not too familiar with an individual, like you're sort of like, you're more than acquaintances, but you're not like, we go way back, I know you so well.
Okay.
If that person completely changes who they are,
right,
you're going to go, okay, are you still the same person? I don't know if I believe that.
Right.
Whereas, I mean, we know each other so well that it would probably be clear very quickly through our behaviour
whether
we are still the same person or not.
Yes.
Even if we have slightly different tics or slightly different quirks or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd know very quickly if I'm talking to the same Sam.
Yes.
So I guess that the answer to that question does depend on the depth of the relationship. And I think within the context of... We'll go purely on Eccleston and Rose for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's definitely the beginning of a deeper relationship there.
Okay.
Then I don't know how long they're supposed to have known each other.
Okay.
Outside of... Because obviously, like, your concept of time would just fall apart in the TARDIS, doesn't it? They say in, like, I think it's The Unquiet Dead, which is the 3rd episode, time is not linear. You can be born in the 21st century, die in the 19th century.
Yes.
So I don't know how time is supposed to move on the TARDIS. But yeah, it's like, oh, we're good friends.
Okay.
We're good friends who are starting to get to know each other on a deeper level.
Yeah.
That's sort of the point of their relationship when Christopher Eccleston regenerates.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. Why did you originally ask
No,
this
that's fair
question?
enough. That's fair enough. It just in that exact context, it makes sense where she's kind of dubious and doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I more broadly speaking, I don't know why it would be considered sad.
Okay.
Anyway, time for Sam's Lexicorner.
Oh, go on then.
Samuel. Words. Phrases. Sam's Lexicorner.
Yes, it's happened. Don't worry.
This is in reference to something we were just talking about.
Okay.
So it would be this idea of real world considerations kind of permeating the fictional world.
Okay.
So the fact that we bagged this actor, or this actor, but it's his or her treatment in the film is not a reflection of the character's importance, but of the actor's importance.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Or in Doctor Who, for instance, where really we're saying goodbye to the actor. That's why it's sad.
Yes.
And that is why, and that dictates its portrayal.
Okay.
I'm going to call that penetriality.
Okay.
Penetriality.
Penetriality. May I ask a question about
You may.
penetriality? In an instance where a husband and wife actors, like actors who are husband and wife in real life, are in the same episode.
Right.
And there's like, I've seen a couple of instances of this where like the husband will say something to the wife, and the character that the wife is playing will go, "Oh, you're not my type," or something like that.
Okay.
Is that an instance of penetriality?
No, that's dramatic irony.
Right. Okay. Because it is,
sort of.
You have to be aware of the real life circumstances for that joke to work, or for that.
No, that's something.
to work.
That's something else, I think.
Okay.
I'm trying to give another example of penetriality that isn't this actor thing. A weird small example. So, in Peep Show, in the final episode,
Yeah.
Hans decides that he's going to go live in Asia or something like that.
Okay.
When they've all failed, and he's just going to leave.
Right.
Whereas realistically, in the universe of the show, this would just be another failed scheme. Like Jeremy doesn't really even like Hans, even though he's his best friend in a way.
Yeah.
When Hans is going, he says, "Yeah, I'm off now," and he lingers for a second and looks a bit upset,
Okay.
and then leaves. And Jeremy looks after him, and he's teary-eyed. He says, "All right, bye." In the universe of that show, that doesn't really make any sense.
Okay.
They would be kind of indifferent to him doing this, but because it was the final episode and their final scene together, there was emotion there. Do you know what I mean?
So it's sort of like real life circumstances.
Yeah, infecting the...
informing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Penetrating. Reality penetrating.
Okay. And the husband and wife thing wouldn't be...
I don't think that would count.
Okay.
No.
I mean, I'm sure we'll find the
Yes.
fringes of this thing
Yes.
as time goes on. But
Yes,
okay,
the
that.
parameters.
I feel like that's a decent starting place.
Okay.
Samuel. Words. Phrases. Sam's Lexicorner.
And we're back.
Okay.
Did you have any other questions about Doctor Who?
Are you satisfied with the questions I've asked so far?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I want to say that I haven't. I mean,
I didn't want this to just become, oh, what did you think about this super specific detail?
exactly,
You know?
yeah. And it's, I didn't want to do an episode by episode breakdown either because I thought that would be kind of disingenuous.
Okay.
It would be better to just talk about the season as a whole.
Even though, by your own admission, the show should be considered as an episode-to-episode venture.
Yes, but the fact of the matter is, when watching it, I wasn't sitting down making kind of notes about this episode.
Yeah.
I wanted to think of it collectively. Think, okay, these are the highlights, these were the lowlights, that.
Okay.
So yeah, the best episodes for me were Dalek and Father's Day.
Yeah.
And the worst were the 2 Satellite 5 episodes.
Well, technically there's 3, but yeah, it's
Bad Wolf.
The Long Game and Bad Wolf. Yeah. Waste of Simon Pegg, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think he clearly wanted to play a villain.
Yes.
But yeah, they were much better.
I mean, this is, what was this? 2005. So he'd just done Shaun of the Dead. Mm-hmm. So he was known, I guess. It's not as if like, oh, this is a role he played before he was a known figure. Like, he was known.
Oh no, he was known, yeah.
He wasn't as big as he was today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even back then, it's still... It's not the biggest waste of an actor in the show.
Okay.
But it is one of those, like, I wish Simon Pegg was, they'd used him better. Especially since the episode itself is very, disposable and like, oh, we didn't need this.
Yes.
Adam is interesting. I think he's called Adam. The guy that they pick up in Dalek, who's kind of working for Henry Van Staten.
Yes.
And then he leaves the series in the following episode. Mm-hmm. It's a slight spoiler, but he never comes up again.
Yeah, I think they were planting the seeds for a potential storyline there that never manifests.
Because I feel like that like stood out to me way back. I know that like when you think back on how you perceived the show when you were younger, you do sort of impose, like, it's sort of through the filter of your adult brain.
Right.
So like the critical knowledge that you have now, you're sort of superimposing that on your simpler view of things when you were younger. But I feel like even back then, I found it strange that, oh, but this guy's gone now. I thought he's traveling with the Doctor. Why is he gone?
Well, he's punished, isn't he, for bringing future technology back?
Yes.
And yeah, that feels like planting the seeds of, ooh, something could go wrong there, or,
Okay.
But for whatever reason, they either just moved on, like, oh yeah, we're sort of done with that.
Yeah.
Or the actor wasn't available, who knows.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, that is an odd little... But maybe it was introducing the idea of extra companions.
Maybe. Because you say, as you say, it's about, it's punishing him because he sort of brought technology back from the future.
Yes.
So I guess it's kind of showing that you can fuck up in the Doctor's eyes.
Yeah, there are rules.
But then the following episode is Father's Day.
Yeah.
In which Rose commits a much bigger faux pas. Mm-hmm.
And faux pas.
Well, she does. It is a faux pas, isn't it?
Is it a faux pas?
Saving your father when he should be dead.
Yeah.
That's not...
No, I mean, is faux pas strong enough? A word.
Well, how would you say it? What's the word you would use?
She breaks a law of physics?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought you'd come up with something more fun than that.
I don't know.
I'm not saying faux pas is fun per se.
Faux pas without the S, so it's like father. Faux pas. There you go.
Oh, okay. Trying to be clever there. Yeah,
that's the episode should have been called.
Faux pas. Yeah, okay. I demand that all future releases of Series 1 of Doctor Who, Father's Day, should be changed to faux pas. Yeah, and the Doctor, they have a row.
Yeah.
But the Doctor does forgive her.
Yes.
He says, like, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop you back home. We're done.
Well, he doesn't want to bone Harry, does he?
Although at that point, I don't know if he does.
No.
I'm sure Rose might have those feelings, but I don't know if he has those feelings.
It would be interspecies intercourse, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, should be like the shape of water, basically.
Well, not quite as disgusting as that.
Well, no, because isn't it? I think it's a season. Well, it'd have to be. I feel like it's said at some point. Obviously, he's got 2 hearts, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's said that he could come back with 2 heads. Like anything could happen.
I don't know if that's the case.
Oh, that's a joke, is it?
Yeah, I think that's a joke.
Okay, why must he look human then?
No, I think the idea is that we look Gallifreyan. That's the justification the show uses.
But for God's sake,
because Time Lords are older.
But if you could change your gender again in inverted commas
and race,
yeah, then why can't you be the smaller face of Bo?
I don't know. It's sort of like there is a set biology. This is going too far into like the
I know
this is going too far into it, but like there is like a
no,
sort of.
This isn't going too far.
No, I feel like
going too far into it is like the precise minutiae of, well, if you travel back to this time, then this should happen this time. Things like that. It's like we'll get that groundwork out of the way so we can build on it.
Well, no, there has to be. Surely there would have to be a blueprint biology that the regeneration has to work from. It's not a case of you could literally like the Doctor could come back as a snake. Like they would have like a blueprint that the type that the regeneration is working off.
Would they? Why would you have a blueprint if you can mutate race and
you can't
gender?
You couldn't like regenerate into something that has more matter than the thing you regenerated from because you're just
they do that.
Well, do you see what I'm going with this?
No.
Though? Okay.
I sort of know, like there's got to be like a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
But realistically, they're not following that anyway.
Why are they not following it?
Because Jodie Whittaker is worlds apart from Peter Capaldi.
Yes.
Even though they're both human looking and they've got 2 arms and 2 legs.
Yeah.
I don't know why in the specifics and the chemistry and biology of Doctor Who, why he couldn't look like an alien. I'm not saying it's Snake. It'd have to be something, again, penetrality, that like an actor it would require little makeup or little supplement, you know. Yeah. I get that. But is this purely a case of penetrality? Well, I mean, it's got to be a human actor, so it's gonna have to.
We're talking about pre-series 12 Doctor Who.
Yeah.
As you know, because this is something that I know we made the promise at the beginning.
Yes.
At the beginning of this discussion, I should say, but this is something we've already talked about. They do kind of retcon what regeneration is.
Yeah.
To no real effect. I feel. The only purpose of that change, I feel, is that to sort of add mystery back to Doctor Who.
Right.
Because by virtue of a show going on for as long as it is, you're naturally going to sort of dive into the mythology of it, aren't you? They've done this with so many things. Like the Lego Movie, for example. The Lego Movie is... you have like... you find out at the end of the film that it's a kid playing with the toys. And the film that we're seeing is sort of like it's basically his imagination. Yeah. Isn't it? The second film goes deeper into that. To the point where it starts to like contradict itself and not make sense. And Doctor Who has done that. It's sort of it's gone on for so long, and it's sort of tried to explore the mythology behind it for so long and to such depth. Yeah, that it's starting to complicate itself too much.
From what I know about the big reveal as well, it seems like telesocial engineering.
There is that component of it as well, which is probably the most the one of the main reasons they did it. Is to sort of introduce diversity to the character. And or retcon diversity into the character.
Retroactively. But like going back to Genesis and saying a god was a she, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Literally fucking with a creation myth of the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, there's 3 things that it does, right? It retroactively, like I said, it retroactively implements diversity.
Yeah, it urbanizes.
Well, yes, we find out that as far as we can tell, the very first incarnation of the Doctor was a black girl.
Yes.
The second thing it does is it sort of kind of gets rid of the regeneration limit. So it sort of implies that the Doctor could hypothetically regenerate an infinite amount of times, whereas up until now the story has been like, oh, the Doctor only has 12 regenerations, which is a rule they've already broken. But yeah, it's basically like setting it up so this show could potentially go on forever because there's no limit of actors that can play this character now. And the third thing it does is it's sort of like, I think it's supposed to reintroduce mystery to the character.
Okay.
So it's supposed to kind of like, oh yeah, you know all of this like detail about the Doctor. The Doctor's from this planet, and there's this race, and this is kind of the minutiae of what. Like it's sort of saying, oh, but that's not the case now. The Doctor actually has a different origin that you don't know about. But I don't feel like I'm breaking my promise because I was going to say I don't feel like it actually does that. It's not as if it's added mystery to it.
Okay.
We still don't know, like, what regeneration is. We still don't know exactly where the Doctor's from. We still don't know many details about her childhood or his childhood. It's just kind of adding detail that, you know, whereas before it's like, oh, the Doctor comes from this planet. Now it's, oh, the Doctor was originally found on this planet by these people, and then they took the ability that the Doctor had, but it doesn't like...
It's kind of writing in the margins of history in a way.
Yeah, it doesn't sort of change anything. It changes things in that, like... Oh, I guess...
And God said, let there be light. Also, I'm a girl.
Yeah, it changes things in the sense that, oh, I guess I'm supposed to now watch Aliens in London where the Doctor is telling off a farting monster, and I'm supposed to be sad that he's not...
But isn't Doctor Who kind of like... The ideal viewing experience is like a Japanese bullet train. Like, you don't go back. It's only forward. If you're going back with the knowledge you've got now, it just corrupts everything. So I just don't think about the past. just look ahead, all right? Don't look behind me.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because
the monkey's paw or something.
The fact that it is episodic makes it so easy to sort of view it in a syndicated fashion.
Yeah.
That you can just jump back into a random episode and you'll be fine.
Acid reflux capacitor. Sorry.
this is something that the reason I
should we get to, because we're gonna get to this stuff, aren't we?
Yeah. I apologize for bringing it up.
Yeah.
I got carried away there because this is something that I want to see your reaction to it.
Yes.
I don't want to give you an expectation going in.
Yeah.
I genuinely want you to see whether this is a good thing or not.
Yeah.
Or sort of decide whether this is a good thing or not. So I apologize for that. Please
Sorry.
forget everything I just said.
Okay.
That goes for you, listener, as well, if you want.
Okay.
So we'll kind of wrap up series 1 of Doctor Who. So broadly, you have good feelings towards this series. Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I'm sort of looking forward to continuing to watch it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's kind of a surprise.
Okay.
But I get watching something without stakes. I know that sounds stupid.
Yeah.
But whenever you try a new show that's supposed to be good, it feels like you don't want to lose it. Like, oh, that's a shame. But I at this point, I watch so much that it sort of doesn't matter to me if something's bad. Do you know what I mean? So that's fine, it's replaced by the next thing. But it is nice to kind of maybe it's because of the removal of expectation in a way that I'm enjoying it as much. That's kind of damning it with, by saying that. But no, I do. I like it.
Good. Okay. And there's nothing else you wanted to say about it in particular?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The actress who plays the Slitheen woman.
Yes.
She's fucking annoying.
I don't know what her name is. Yeah. I haven't seen her in anything else, actually.
No, that I can recall.
No, she
sucks.
Which is disappointing because I like the idea of Boomtown, which
it's a really good episode.
Which she is like a main supporting character in that episode.
Again, that's just I think that was a mix of it's a good kind of philosophical sort of discussion.
Yeah.
Through a sci-fi prism, which is what sci-fi at its best does.
That discussion being...
should she be... They're going to kill her. The punishment for her crime is death with her people.
Yes.
So...
Should you take her back
Isn't he just a murderer for... Yeah. But also probably we need one episode where we can just film in Cardiff Bay.
There is that,
Like their version of a bottle episode, you know?
Yeah. And they do that. Yeah, Russell T Davies doesn't have the kindest opinion of Cardiff, does he?
No,
he
doesn't.
I like Torchwood, the spin-off show, is actually set in Cardiff. I haven't seen Torchwood, so I have no idea whether to even recommend it to you. I don't know. I just never kept up with it. I mean, it was sort of positioned as like the mature Doctor Who. I think the second episode has a sex monster in it.
Right. Okay.
So it's like, this is like from like
like Kevin Spacey.
No.
Well, it's the BBC, mate.
Yeah.
There's one or two in there, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. This is more in hindsight, but I wonder if you'd be able to pinpoint the exact moment we destroyed our careers.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably when I said that, I'm repeating it because, when I said that there's an irony in the fact that Harvey Weinstein's victims only had their platform because they sucked dick.
Yeah, that probably didn't help.
That might have been the final nail in the coffin. But well, everyone's going to die anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
On that note, should we wrap up?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, Series 1,
Thumbs
Doctor
up.
Who, good. Do you recommend Series 1 of Doctor Who?
Yeah, why not? Just don't go expecting a prestige drama.
Okay.
But yes.
And it has aged.
It has, view it with the generosity. We've talked about this before. View it with the generosity that you afford to other things. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, this retconning thing, this is getting broad now. But like, Thomas Jefferson now was not a great president because he had slaves and all. And again, things are complex and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But like, I've definitely mentioned this on a podcast. I don't know if it stayed in. But when we, as a uni course, were watching Jaws, and then when the shark was revealed, and it looks kind of rubbish.
Yeah.
And someone just laughed, and I just felt like, fuck you.
Okay.
It was made in 1975 and like with quite low budget conditions, and you could make a better film than Jaws.
Yeah.
Now, fuck you.
Yeah.
I hate that. We all must have collective jank concession to old films.
Throwing that in
shows.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, 2 thumbs up.
Okay. Well, I think the nice thing as well, especially with Russell T Davis's run, where it's pretty consistent, I would say, in terms of like the age of it and the craft of it. So yeah, the whole thing you have to approach it going like, okay, this is going to look cheap. It's going to look not great. But even though the craft has aged, like good writing doesn't age.
It doesn't. Maybe that's a bias we have, because I feel like whenever I watch anything, I'm lasering through the presentation, the DNA of it.
Yeah.
All the time. Like I'm literally picturing the words on the page.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you would not recommend The Hunt?
I would not.
Okay.
No.
Nor would I. I would agree with you. I would recommend Series 1 of Doctor Who with the asterisks of...
Yes.
There is good writing in there, and there is like gold in them hills, but, you know...
Approach with caution.
Yes, approach with caution. And I would not recommend The Hunt because it's not well executed and...
As it were.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's not well executed and, you know, maybe the idea was good to begin with, but I don't know. It's not the strongest foundation to make a film, I think.
No. Okay, so next episode we'll be talking about season 2 of Doctor Who.
Yeah, and something else. Maybe.
And something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have to find something to talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
On that note, cheerio, chums.
See ya.